Welcome back. This week we're going to talk about Blood and Lace. Blood and Lace is kind of a random, obscure movie, although it was released by AIP. AIP put out Count Yorga, Return to Count Yorga, and a bunch of other movies we talked about. So, Blood and Lace, as you can kind of see, we got like someone getting killed with a hammer, okay? Let's see. This movie, here's what I want to say about this movie. The story was good. The execution was okay. But the story was good. So here's what happens. Actually, the beginning scene was crazy. It starts out, and you got the point of view of the killer, okay? Something that a lot of people talk about. You know, Halloween had the point of view of Michael Myers, and Black Christmas had the point of view of the killer, but obviously this came out before, and we pointed out some other movies that really did things those movies did before they did them. But anyway, we've got someone walking around, you see the hammer, and then the hammer, contrary to what's shown in this poster, the killer uses the claw and claws the crap out of the faces of a woman and a man who are in bed. Then we get a, I guess, teenage girl. She's like supposed to be 16 or 17. In reality, she's probably in her 20s. She finds the people, or actually, we don't know if she found the people or what, but she is recounting what happened, and the investigators are asking her, how do you know it was a hammer? And she's like, I just know it was a hammer. But she like said that she didn't see it. Anyway, turns out the woman was her mother, and the man was a John who was, a client of the mother who was a prostitute. Anyway, I don't know if like this would have really happened in real life in 1971, but they take this 16 or 17-year-old girl and they put her in an orphanage, and the police tell her that she needs to stay there because the killer is still on the loose and might want to kill her because she was in the house and was like a witness to this massacre. Now, before I say any more, I'm going to say I give this movie probably a 6 out of 10. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. The beginning is crazy. The clawing of the people's faces is crazy. It didn't look great, but just the fact that you're getting a claw hammer to the face like 2 minutes into the movie or a minute into the movie is pretty crazy. If the whole thing would have kept up that energy, it probably could have gotten an 8. But there's actually only like 1 or 2 other violent parts in the whole movie. So I give it a 6 out of 10. Not bad. If you're like me and you just gotta see everything, then I'd watch it once. It's probably not worth a second watch. So that's the gist of it. We'll go through a couple other pieces if you're interested in listening. So basically, and there is some weirdo stuff that happens. The police tell her she's only going to be safe in this orphanage. Well, the orphanage, there's 2 people running the orphanage, and they're killing the kids. If a kid they treat the kids really poorly, and then if the kids try to run away, they chase after them, kill them, stick them in the freezer, and then just report that they successfully ran away. So, I don't think they ever say why they're killing the kids. But they've got all these kids working all day, and then they end up killing them off one by one. So there's a killer on the loose, and to be safe from the killer, she goes to this orphanage where they're killing kids. So in effect, she's not safer there. Although, you know what I wanted to point out? This movie is almost like an American Giallo, because you don't know who the hammer killer is, and you are guessing throughout the movie who it might be. Now, I'll be honest, most Gialli, I never ever guessed the killer. In this one, I did. There's a few key characters besides the two people who you know are killing kids that run the orphanage. You also have this police officer who has basically said, excuse me. So he's basically said that he is interested in this girl. The girl's 16 or 17. The police officer is bald. Okay, he's way too old for the girl. And this other guy who, like, I guess he, like, checks in on the orphanage once in a while, told the police officer, like, I can tell you're interested in this girl, and she's too young for you. And the police officer is kind of like, so you don't know if maybe the police officer did it, okay? You don't know if maybe the girl did it, because it's possible. She seems a little sketchy, or it could have been someone else. And so, basically, one crazy thing that happens is when they're chasing one of these kids, the guy that runs the orphanage, there's a guy and a woman, he throws, like, from a far distance, he throws a hatchet at the kid, and the kid was, like, leaning up against a tree, and the guy just, like, happens to dead on hit this guy in the wrist, and this kid in the wrist, and cut his hand off. And that was pretty early in the movie, too. So between the claw to the face and the hand getting cut off from a distance, the movie really had potential. And then almost nothing crazy happens after that. There's, like, some love interest stuff. Nobody cares. And then towards the end, the girl tries to run away. And then probably one of the coolest parts of the movie is this, like, slashery type guy. And I've seen some people online say this is like a proto-slasher or like their true first slasher or whatever. And actually, I think this did come out before Hands of the Ripper. Although I don't think it's a slasher because only like a couple people die and you really saw at the beginning of the movie. So I don't think it counts as a slasher. Because Hands of the Ripper, you got people dying like every 15 minutes or every 10 minutes. Anyway, at the end, this slashery looking guy with a messed up face and a hammer starts prowling around, ends up fighting the guy that was killing kids and cut the kid's hand off. And then he starts chasing the girl, the main girl, and he chases her down. You think he's going to kill her, except it was too obvious. I knew it wasn't going to work out this way. And I predicted that the girl was actually the killer. And that turned out to be true. And this guy's dressed like a killer. It's actually the cop. And then he basically says to the girl at the end of the movie, which, I mean, major spoilers here. He says to the girl basically, look, I know you killed your mom and that guy she was with. And she's like, what are you going to do, arrest me? And he's like, well, we could just get married instead. And she's like, oh, okay. And that's the end of the movie. So, like, the end was really anticlimactic. Like, I think the cop did, like, stab the other guy who was actually killing kids in the back. But, like, all of a sudden, like, the whole movie was, like, one way. And then all of a sudden you get an ultra sleazy ending where this cop who's over double the age of the girl is like, I know you killed your mother and another guy who was innocent. And I won't tell anyone if you marry me. And the girl's definitely like 16 or 17. And the cop is definitely like 40-something. And then the movie just ends. So it started off strong. It ended weird. I'm going to say 6 out of 10. Blood and Lace. The director, who it should be, Philip Gilbert, never directed anything else. This is his only movie ever. So, yeah, that's it. See you next time.